All right, day 2, Magic Kingdom. This was my favorite day of our vacation. Magic Kingdom was awesome. I loved it so much more than I even expected to love it. We Ubered to the park, and once you get to the park, you have to take either the monorail or the ferry to the actual entrance to the park. So this is footage from us on the monorail going to the park, and there's a point where you can see the castle in the distance. And it was so cool because as soon as we were able to see it, there were kids squealing and shouting on the monorail, "Look, I see the castle, there it is." And it was just like so sweet and endearing to sort of feed off of their excitement, and it was actually kind of moving. I teared up multiple times during this day because I'm such a sap, and it was just really overwhelming in an amazing way. And then this is right past the entrance, going into Main Street, and you can actually hear me ask, is this Main Street? Is this Main Street? Mm-hmm. So you want to find a bathroom right away? Okay. This is a picture of us at the end of Main Street, and this is just footage of us walking down the street and taking in the sights. It was so amazing how all of the shops were so detailed and they looked so beautiful, and almost all of them were actual shops, so it was really neat to just, I don't know, everything just felt so real there. The ambiance was amazing. I was tripping over this grid line in the road. The first thing we did is make our way to Tomorrowland.
Is this the way to Tomorrowland?
Tomorrowland, our goal there was to go on Space Mountain before there was a long wait, but it was already at like 40 minutes. So when we got there, we decided to do the Buzz Lightyear ride instead. It's funny because I have a first visit pin on that Bryant got for me, and as we were walking down this road, a cast member saw me and went to shake my hand, and I, being so gullible, went to shake their hand back, and they did that thing where they took their hand back at the last second and it was like, oop, gotcha. And I felt like such a chump, but it was hilarious. So this was the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger ride, which was really cool because there were guns mounted on the cart, and as you rode, you tried to shoot at the different targets in the ride. And everything was blacklit, so all the colors were super vibrant. It was really neat, and I didn't take any footage of the actual ride. In fact, many of these rides I did not take footage of because I found that it was nice to really immerse myself in the experience and not think about looking at everything through my phone. But there were a few rides where I got a couple minutes of video footage. And then Buzz Lightyear was on a stage. It was neat to see him.
All right, B, we just went on the Buzz Lightyear ride. How do you feel?
Feel great.
Yeah?
Ready to do more.
Then we went to a shop and I got some Mickey ears, and we ate some breakfast at this little cafe under the Astro Orbiter.
All right, I got my ears going. What?
It's funny because Bryant interrupted me and then I totally just gave up saying whatever I was saying there. This is the stitch I also got at the shop where I got my ears. And then this is us on the People Mover. They call it the People Mover. We love that they stuck with that name. And I thought that this was something that would take us from one end of the park to the other, but it's actually just a loop, so it starts and ends in the same place. And I actually recommend going on this early on before you do the other rides in Tomorrowland, because it kind of gives you a preview of the 4 or 5 different rides and show that are in Tomorrowland, including the Carousel of Progress, Space Mountain, the Buzz Lightyear ride, and I forget the other ones, if there are other ones. But this was really neat. It was really peaceful and relaxing. We tried to go on it again at the end of the night, but at that time it was broken down, so we only went on it this one time. But it was really enjoyable. You know, you don't even need a seatbelt, so that's one of the things I really liked about the Disney rides, is that pretty much all of them you could bring your stuff on the ride with you and it didn't matter, because it's not like they were thrill rides. They were just, you know, shuttle type rides.
Starting to rain a little bit.
Like a walk-on too.
What'd you say? Oh, we need a pair.
So it looked like Winnie the Pooh's a walk-on, but it's like I'm not close.
Storybook. Oh, that's treats. Good goods.
This is the entrance to the Little Mermaid ride. I ended up loving this ride so much. So much. There are shells and footprints ingrained into the sidewalk. That's one of the things that I really loved about Magic Kingdom and all of these rides, is that even the queue and the line waiting process felt like part of the ride and part of the story. So it wasn't boring to wait in line, because more often than not there were things to look at, details to notice. A few of them had even games for kids to play waiting for them. So I really enjoyed just going along through the queue looking at everything. And I love that the girl in front of us has long red hair like Ariel. But yeah, and that's the thing about these Disney rides, is that they're not just a thrill ride or, you know, the enjoyment of going up and down really fast. It's about telling a story and immersing you in the experience. And it was way cooler than I thought that a ride like this would be. The footage does not do it justice. Like, on camera, this does not look very cool, but when you're on the ride, most of these are just so fun. So here we are going under the sea. I think that this ride was so fun for me because I felt like I was actually in the movie. You know, you watch these movies hundreds of times as a kid and they just kind of become a part of your childhood, and then when you get the opportunity to feel like you're living in it, they did the Under the Sea song in this ride, and they had all the fish dancing and Sebastian singing, and it was a really incredible experience because it just felt like, wow, I am in the movie that I watched so much as a child. So for that reason, this ride was one of my favorites, just because of all the music, and it was a really neat experience. We also went to some shows throughout the day. I didn't take any videos of that, but we went to the Mickey's PhilharMagic show, which was really neat. That was a 4D show that had glasses and sort of like smell and air puffs at the audience. This is obviously the Dumbo ride, which is a classic. I really enjoyed this ride. A lot of these kiddie rides, you know, they're very simple, but they're enjoyable to ride on, and there's usually not too much of a wait for a small ride like this, so this was essentially a walk-on. I mean, maybe we waited 5 minutes to get on, but this was a good one to go on.
Yeah.
I take a lot of these random videos of us just smiling or walking because I wanted to make it feel more personable to us going to Disney, but I really don't say anything important in those scenes. This is, of course, the It's a Small World After All ride. Classic. I was vaguely interested in it. It's definitely probably the least exciting ride that we went on. I don't know. Peter Pan was also very disappointing. But this Small World classic, you have to go on it. Probably will never go on it again though. And then this, what we just saw, was the Haunted Mansion ride, which I loved a lot. And again, the video here does not do it justice, but it was a really cool experience. They had these neat sort of projections of ghosts, and it's just a lot of fun. I also loved the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I didn't take any single video of that either, but that one was definitely one of my favorites. I would say Little Mermaid, Haunted Mansion, and Pirates of the Caribbean were 3 of my favorite rides that we went on. Unless I remember another one, and then I keep changing my top favorite rides and moments of Magic Kingdom because it's so hard to choose just one. When we got out of that, it was raining, and it rained kind of on and off throughout the day, but really never enough to bother us. This is probably the longest that we waited for the rain to pass by before we went out into it, and it really wasn't even raining that hard. We got way harder rain on the 4th day at Hollywood Studios than we did at Magic Kingdom. It was honestly kind of refreshing to have the rain because it was just so hot there. And I put my jacket on for a few minutes, and then I ended up taking it off pretty quickly after that. This is us navigating our way up Main Street once again. We were headed to the Emporium, which was like the giant gift shop where they had pretty much all of the merchandise that you could ever hope to look for at Disney World. We didn't really stop in any of the crystal shops or any of the really like upscale niche shops, but we definitely hit up a lot of gift shops. This was a hoodie that I ended up buying. And then the next few minutes is just me walking around the Emporium, just showing you how big it is and how much merchandise there is. So I apologize if you start to get upset from the wobbly camera, like if you get motion sickness from this, maybe you want to skip ahead. But I thought it would be neat to show off some of what the gift shop was offering because, like I said, it was really huge. I really enjoy gift shops too, so pretty much any time we would be walking and we saw a gift shop, we'd be like, you want to stop there? And then we would, because partially, you know, it's that serotonin rush when you buy something, you feel kind of better about yourself and about life, but also the air conditioning, you know, it's so hot there that part of going into a gift shop is the relief of enjoying the air conditioning for a while, and in the case of the rain, you know, staying dry. So the gift shops were actually a saving grace in terms of bodily comfort while we were there. And the prices were pretty okay. I mean, obviously everything is kind of expensive. Like you've got your $74 like jersey type shirt, but you know, a Stitch stuffed animal was like $30 for the big one, which I don't know, I guess is a lot, but we bought a lot of little merchandise. I mean, I love going and seeing what there is available to buy, and part of it was cool because it was just neat seeing how creative the merchandise people were and the different ways they incorporated all these Disney characters into merchandise in unique ways. And like the hat selection was really cool too. So it was just entertaining to like look at everything, you know, peruse our options. We got a few souvenirs for loved ones and obviously some things for ourselves. But they are all about the pins at Disney. So pretty much every gift shop had like a really big pin selection, and you will see in a moment how massive this store's pin collection was. I don't even end up showing you the entire collection in the shot, but just one of the walls. Their big thing, I guess, is pins of different characters. So we bought several pins of our favorite characters, and we were always on the lookout for different characters that we hadn't seen yet that we really wanted as a pin. Over here I go around these people and then you see it. And then those are the lanyards. Yeah, all these are pins. And there's that kid squeaking his shoes in the background. He's really going for it. But yeah, this is me heading back the way I came from when this clip started. And at this point, I think I was just trying to find Bryant because we had gone our separate ways because the store is just so big and we both wanted to look at our own stuff. That was like, I'm sorry, I need to free float around the store by myself for a little while. It would be easy to lose someone here. I mean, especially if you had a kid that, you know, you turn your back and they wandered away. And as you can see in this video, half the people are wearing masks, half the people aren't. I wore a mask and just felt safer that way with all the people that come there from all over the world. Oh, hey, look who it is.
I'm gonna separate. I'm gonna look for
Aww.
Put this on my desk always.
He got a really cool hat. It was like a baseball hat that had Mickey ears on it, and he put his pins on it too. And then after that, let's see, where are we headed? Oh yes, we had reservations at Be Our Guest restaurant, which is a Beauty and the Beast themed restaurant. We put this reservation on hold 2 months in advance, and it booked up so fast. So ours was at 3:20, I think, and it was a really cool place. There were different rooms in the mansion that you could dine in, and pretty much if you were an adult, you had a set price for your meal, and your meal included an appetizer, an entree, 3 desserts, and some bread. So it was really delicious. They had a vegetarian option that I ate. Bryant, I think, had steak. It was so delicious, and the dessert was amazing. These desserts were so good. So it was definitely worth the price. Really loved the ambiance, and that was just a great part of the trip, was the food, honestly. I don't normally eat food at amusement parks and stuff like that, but it was definitely worth eating the food here because it was really delicious. And as adults, part of life's enjoyment now is food. But then we caught some of the princesses going by on floats. I didn't really mention this earlier, I think I forgot to, but one of the neat things about this park was that they constantly had music playing, so it really did feel magical and fantastical to hear all this music playing constantly, songs that you know by heart, that you grew up listening to. So the ambiance was amazing, not only at the rides, but the streets, you know, the music constantly playing. And I will say this, it is an incredibly clean park. Like, even the bathrooms, even the most run-down bathrooms we went to were clean overall and not the worst bathrooms I've seen in my life. So I was really impressed by how clean this park was. There were trash cans everywhere. I think in one of the Imagineering episodes that we watched, they said that they place trash cans every 30 feet because that's kind of proven the amount of time that someone will hold onto trash before just dropping it to the ground. So I will say this, it was a really clean and enjoyable park. We saw Chippendale. I like how that they were standing up there so everybody can see them in the distance. And then we went on a carousel. Love carousels. This is another kiddie ride that had a pretty short wait that was, you know, worth it because even if it's just going around in a circle, you know, it's classic, it's fun. And we got a pretty good view of the castle going around on the carousel.
Yeah, because those ones you can race on. We are on Prince Charming's carousel. You can see the castle in the background right over here.
This was the part of the day when I was really starting to enjoy myself. I had had the thrills of the whole morning and then the promise of whatever else we wanted to do that evening, because we had pretty much hit a lot of rides and shows at that point that we had wanted to, so it just kind of felt like we had a lot of options, that no matter what we ended up doing, I would be happy with how the day went. And I think it was sprinkling, but again, we didn't really even hardly notice the rain. It wasn't cold. It was, like I said, kind of refreshing and nice not to have that sun glaring down on us. Plus, cloudy days make for better pictures. Oh, Bryant also got the photo pass that Disney offers, so they had people who were working for photo pass standing at certain places, and you just scanned your Disney card and they would take a picture of you and they would give you prompts sometimes like, oh, look at each other like you love each other, or shout in excitement. And this is a super zoom picture, so it was taken from the top of a building.
Hi! What's your favorite thing so far? Put you to the test.
Oh my god.
It's hard to choose.
Yeah. You have to ask me that thing.
Everything has been amazing.
It's been such a great time.
It's been more fun than I even expected, honestly. A little bit overwhelming, but like in a good way.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Now we are walking through the main area in front of the castle. You can see all these people. It is about 7:30 at this point, and they're all congregating, waiting in anticipation for the Happily Ever After fireworks show at the end of the night. It was packed at that time. I can see why people would get there early to get a good spot. However, it did not seem worth it in my opinion. Bryant and I are walking to our dinner reservations at the Crystal Palace at this time. Our reservations were for 7:45 p.m. This is the inside of it, but we came out of here at about 8:30 and we got perfectly fine standing positions for the fireworks show, so I don't think it was worth going quite that early to wait. We enjoyed our dinner a lot. The food here was also amazing. It's hard to tell, but it's Winnie the Pooh themed in there. So again, the food was amazing. I got fried cauliflower, green beans, broccoli, and potatoes. Bryant got a shrimp and catfish dinner. He was stuffed. He could not finish his. I could hardly finish mine. In fact, this is the dessert and we took it all to go, even though it was so delicious, and I completely devoured it in the hotel room later on. We just could not stuff ourselves with any more food at that point. And then this is a close-up of their Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore decorations at the entrance. At the end of the night at 9:15, they do their Happily Ever After fireworks show, which is really neat. It's fireworks and projection up on the castle that kind of tells a story and says how everybody can have a happily ever after. It's sort of like a song montage and animation of various Disney videos, Disney movies. I did not get any footage of the actual fireworks show because I was just watching it, totally entranced, moved to tears, and it was drizzling, but it was absolutely amazing. And it ended and there was still an hour and a half left for the park to be open. So as soon as that was done, Bryant and I went to the People Mover to go on it a second time. However, we sat on it for like 10 minutes before they said that it was broken and we could not ride it, so we had to get off. Then we went to the Winnie the Pooh ride, where we ended up actually waiting about 20 minutes to get into our honey pot, but it was worth the wait because I loved the storybook, paper decor atmosphere to this ride. Really loved it as a reader, and of course I love Winnie the Pooh. Who doesn't? I mean, he's classic, so this ride was really neat. There were a lot of things for kids to play with in the wait for this, so we were partially watching the kids just touch and play with everything around them. And I also will say that even as an adult going to Disney, I didn't feel weird, and I actually think it's funny that someone could feel weird going to Disney because it wasn't just for kids. Like, there were so many adults, and it's just an enjoyable experience. I think no matter what age you are, if you can feel that sort of thrill and excitement for stories and for new experiences, I think that you can find some joy in going to Disney World. And it's amazing too because as a kid, I never in a million years thought I would be able to go to Disney World. It always seemed like that expensive, far off thing that could never happen to me. My family was fine, but we didn't quite have the money for a vacation like that, and so going as an adult, it was a really gratifying and incredible experience. After the Winnie the Pooh ride, we went over to the Teacup ride, which I think we were probably among some of the last people to get on this ride because the park was closing very soon. And again, if you are prone to motion sickness, you may want to look away at this point because this is just footage of us spinning and spinning, which was actually really fun.
Yeah, I feel like I could ride this again.
I know, I can do this one.
We just get out and we just fall straight over. Like straight to the ground.
And this is our walk out of the park. Main Street was lit up so beautifully, and even in the rain, it was gorgeous. Of course, you can see some of the PhotoPass people snapping away. They were all lined up down Main Street for tons of photo ops. We got one right before we left as well, as you will see in a moment. But it was really hard to leave. It was such a magical day, and I didn't want it to end. And if the park was open all night, we would have stayed all night. But I'm glad we did this the first day because my legs weren't sore yet. We were full of energy, you know, totally psyched to be there, and it was just a perfect day. And then we took the ferry back to the parking lot where our Uber driver picked us up. But this was an amazing moment as well, just standing at the front of the ferry, looking at the night, watching the water. So peaceful and amazing. Really, really a magical day. Okay, and now a haul video. Hello, we are back at the resort right now. It is about midnight. We stayed pretty much until the park closed, and I want to show off some of the stuff we got today. First of all, I got a little Stitch plush. I loved Stitch from Lilo and Stitch when I was a kid, so. I also got Mickey ears, which are a must. What I did is put them on top of my bucket hat so that I had the visor and I had the ears, and they went together surprisingly well. Also got a hoodie because I accidentally left my hoodie that I brought in Betsy's car when she dropped us off at the airport, so I wanted to get a hoodie, which was the perfect excuse to get this yellow one. And then I also got, I gave the mouse all my money today. Little retro looking Walt Disney shirt. Bryant got a lot of cool things too. He got a mug, which they wrapped up really well, and I don't think we're gonna unwrap it all. And like a desk trinket thing. And he got like a baseball hat with Mickey ears on it, and some pins. More here. And he got a couple pins for his siblings as like souvenirs. I'm showing you these really bad. I like how the pin back is also Mickey ears. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that we got today. Plus we have like leftover desserts from dinner. I don't think I'm gonna be able to eat all those. But yeah, we're about to get in the jacuzzi and crash.